things are about to get testy. So this is a swivel heads alert that you may, there's stories that Walmarts are going to be shutting down as of the 1st of November. That's not substantiated, but you may not want to go shopping at Walmarts after the 1st of November. Why? Because the EBT funds are running out. They're not going to be funded with the government shutdown going forward after that point. And there's tons, vast numbers of videos on YouTube where recipients of the EBT cards are saying that they're going to go in and steal things. They're going to go in and even talking about attacking people in the parking lot at Walmart. They're talking about attacking cars wherever. They're talking already about breaking in homes. And it ain't even run out yet. And they're already talking about this stuff. You see how nasty this could be? You see where we've gotten with our society today? It is just insane to consider that these are the things that we're looking at, that this is where we're at. I'm going to show you some of the stuff, some of this mess on the internet that substantiates what I'm talking about here. Some of the videos from these guys. I mean, some of it is off the charts. I mean, these guys just really expect that they're owed a living. Man, let me get some better light in here. There we go. These guys are expecting that they will be, that they're just going to get all this money. And apparently it's not there. And here's something to think about. Whether or not this does pan out, this is an object lesson and what you got to be concerned with should the grid go down. Because people are going to riot, they are going to panic, they are going to steal, because that's what they do in situations like that. That's why you've got to be ready and you've got to be prepared. But in any case, I would say you may want to go ahead and get your stuff before this happens, because for one thing, we are expecting runs on the stores. We are expecting people to go out and do things. We are expecting all kind of craziness to occur. I'm going to check the chat room after I go through the news here in a little bit. But seriously, guys, they're talking about not just going in and smashing and grabbing at Walmart. They're talking about filling their carts up and just going out the door and daring anyone to stop them, including law enforcement. And see, what they're doing is they're actually coordinating this in some places. Allegedly, they're coordinating this to have a massive run on stores so that they would overwhelm police, store owners, or whoever would try to stop them. You wouldn't want to be there when that goes down. You wouldn't want to be around. But like I said, they're also threatening to attack people's cars, to attack people's homes. Yeah, this means you've got to really, really, really watch your six. Eyes wide open, head on a swivel like never before. But this kind of thing, it's coming sooner or later, even if they restore the EBT. Fully restored, I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to show you some video of some people that are just swearing they're not going to work. Personally, I think they don't deserve the breath in their lungs in some of these cases. But we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But, there are people that need help. And I tell you, there are people. I had a woman that used to work for me. She was a very hard worker. Occasionally she hits me up and says, Greg, I'm in a hard spot. I need $10. I need $20. I actually send it to her. I do believe in helping people out, but I don't believe in robbery. I don't believe in stealing. That makes me mad because thieves really wipe me out in more ways than one, and more occasions than one. And I got no use for a thief. None. There is no justifications for stealing. But anyway, people will do what they got to do to eat, or they'll do whatever they can do to eat. Too bad some of them aren't working. Some of them can't. In those cases, I understand. But still, this whole approach, I mean, they're talking about doing it on the very first day they run out. I mean, come on, guys. I tell everybody to have at least 3 days worth of food. The very first day the food runs out, kind of strange, right? 1 second after, yeah, we're maybe there the 1st of November already, but you got to wonder this whole shutdown business. The Democrats have been dragging foot on it. That several bills have been put forward. They really want money to be put back in so that we can fund health care of people that run across our border. undocumented trespassers who break the law coming in this country. They want to throw money at them, so they'll stay here and skew the votes. That's what it boils down to. And they've been willing to sacrifice everything else, including Americans. And probably they're happy with this EBT situation because it just creates more chaos. And they love chaos. I think the Republicans are maybe hoping it brings them to the table. Hey, we got a stray kid in the house. Okay, good to see you. Been a while. Anyway, so I want to show you some of the stuff off X, what they're claiming. I just thought I'd go ahead and come out with this and bring it to you and do it in such a way that you'll know that you may want to avoid stores, even if they're open. Or if you do go into them, you might want to circle around from a distance first, kind of scope it out, and then drive up toward the store, eyes open, see what's going on. Look at the interest. Does it look crazy? And you walk up kind of slowly and deliberately. Make sure you're standing straight and looking strong, because if you're looking weak, you're a target. I don't, I've had times when my back hurt, but I'd still stand up straight because I didn't want anybody to think I was hurting or in pain, because you do not want to be a target. So do the best you can. If you got to grab a shopping cart to help you go in, if you're having some problem. Look, most of my followers are my age. Quite a few were older. Sometimes it's tough getting around when your joints are hurting, your back's hurting. But try not to look weak. Do everything you can to look strong. But also keep an eye out when you're going in these places. Make sure that there's nothing funny going on in there. They don't look suspicious. Your intuition isn't saying, get out. You need to listen to your intuition. Kind of keep, looking around behind you, make sure somebody's not coming up on you. Seriously, that's kind of where we're moving into. And whether it's the 1st of November or when the grid goes down or some other mayhem takes place, our government's not going to be able to run forever on the way it's running. They either got to come up with some big new way to generate a lot of revenue to get our country's GDP zinging. And about the only way I can think about to do that is to turn into major manufacturing and use robotics to do it. To get the GDP way up. That would actually work. That or bankruptcy. That's about it. The country can go into default, or just, I don't know, we can slash enough to spend it now. Our interest is already greater than the interest on our debt is greater than what we're spending on defense. And it's kind of hard to give up defense when you got a country like China pulling all the antics to pulling. In any event, I would hope we get to the day that everybody in the world, we could talk mano a mano and get rid of any need to have militaries. To do that, we'll have to get rid of all these national governments. All we need really is a tribal society, in my humble opinion. Tribal council of elders, it should be the only government we have. That's my humble opinion. I think we metastasize that kind of talk around the world and get other people to understand that and start preaching love instead of hate. Maybe we can find ourselves in a better place. But that's not going to happen overnight. Until it does, we got to defend ourselves. And you got to defend your personal self also. But the best first way to do that is just being aware. Don't just go in someplace blind. Be situation aware wherever you are. Because if we're talking about hitting cars, they're talking about hitting homes, you better be situation aware in your car, in your home. If you got to ride public transportation, do not sit down and get on your phone and go, oh. But suddenly you lose focus of everything out around the world. What happened to the lady from Ukraine and Charlotte? What happened to her? That's what she was doing. You are an easy target when you're all focused on one thing. So you got to keep your eyes wide open and head on the swivel. I say that all the time. And this is why I say this, is so you guys know that you've got to be aware of what's going down. Anyway, so let's look at some of the stuff. But hey, get the things you really need before the 1st of November, and try to stock up enough, at least for 2 weeks, 3 weeks if you can. Especially the things you use the most of. Go ahead and try to get them, just in case. Now, here's the problem. It may be a run on the stores because you may not be the only one doing that. So you might want to get out even a little bit in advance, because the store shelves might get bare real fast. Because other people, if they're smart and realize there may be a threat, they're going to take care of business. Just saying. So hopefully, even the people who are talking about going hungry, and they really shouldn't. There's other ways to deal with that. Well, and what have I been teaching on the Green Greg's channel? What was the first videos I put on Green Greg's? About growing food. What's one of the main products I promoted on Green Greg's? True Leaf Market and Eden Brothers. So get seeds, grow food. That's the best security you can have for any of this stuff. Anyway, so hey, appreciate that. I'm gonna cha. I'm gonna go in the chat room a little bit first. Let's go into these articles because we do have people that want the news content before we go into the chat. So let's do it. I'm gonna do I gotta change screens here and go to what I'm gonna show. I'm just gonna show you a few things. It's not gonna be a lot. We probably won't be long tonight, but we're gonna get into it here. So give me a second to share screen. Okay, and it's not clicking. Here we are. All righty. So this lady here, I use the word loosely, black woman, encourages people to start stealing groceries. I don't know about Walmart, but most businesses are operating on maybe a 7% margin. You got to realize something. Most businesses go out of business in 7 years. 6 out of 7. Only 1 out of 7 businesses survive 7 years. And a family that starts the business usually works 80 hours a week to get it going. They put in a lot of their personal money. Or so somebody come in and wreck it or burn your place down, like happened in Minneapolis and all those cities up north back in the summer of love. That's unconscionable. That's unconscionable. Families had their lives destroyed over somebody having a hissy fit. That's what it really boiled down to. That's what we call it in the South, a hissy fit. There's worse words to use. I'm trying to be charitable here, using polite Southern lingo. So let's listen to this lady here. What does she got to say? Oops, we can't hear. Hang on a minute. I got to do a couple things. I got to stop the share. I got to mute my other video over here so I can play sound. Yikes. See, sometimes I cut the sound on my computer because I don't want when I go live Zoom, it opens a window that automatically starts chatting on one of my browsers, which is stupid. Why does it do that? And I have to mute it, or else you're going to be hearing feedback right off the bat. That is a flaw in Zoom, a big Zoom flaw. I guess I don't know how many of these systems got that same flaw, but that's a flaw. And so I try to stop that by killing the overall sound. And when I decide to share something with sound, sometimes I forget. Hang on with me, guys. Just bear with me a second. Yeah. I got to come in and turn. I'm switching all the sound settings again. Whoa. Nope. There we go. Let's take another shot at this. We want to share that again. Ding, 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 ding. Here we are. All right, let's hear now.
If you gotta walk smooth out the door, just take them. I don't care. I support you. I support that message, and I'm gonna mind my business. That's what I'm gonna do. If I see somebody walking out with a cart full of groceries that I know is unpaid, like I'm minding my business because so what? So what? They're taking away food from y'all. And I see a lot of people making videos and in the comments saying, well, that's not the solution. What is the solution then?
Stores aren't taking no food away from you. Nobody's taking the food away from you. What's happening is you're not getting taxpayer money. That's what's happening. So that's a mischaracterization due to a misunderstanding of the real situation. So that does not entitle someone to steal from someone else, especially a lot of small mom and pop operations. Secret Service and NYPD. Okay, that's a whole different story here. This is said to be an EBT recipient consuming her tax dollars. I don't know. She's kind of a hefty mama there. Looks like she could do without a meal. Anyway, EBT means it's already stolen from the taxpayer. Yeah, stolen once. I'm going to come back to that. EBT users threaten to loot and steal because of government shutdowns. And there's a whole bunch of these videos where people just out here crying and fussing and carrying on about wanting to steal. Let's see, people are making videos or stuff. Now, here's people celebrating using EBT cards to spend a lot of money. A lot of those on here too. All right, here's one. Woman goes viral, wanting President Trump not to touch her EBT cards. We'll start stealing like there's no tomorrow. All right, let's get the sound on this one.
I'm gonna tell y'all straight up like this. I got that text that the link is definitely cut the fuck off for November. Y'all better stay the fuck out of my way in these stores. I'm walking out with carts and I'm not paying for shit. Trump, if you won't, motherfucker start looting, oh, it's gonna happen. Before my kids go broke and bitch like Jack, I'm gonna be stealing like it ain't no tomorrow. I am going to go in that store, get everything I get regularly. I'm going to bag my shit, swipe my link card. As soon as that bitch said ain't no pending balance on there, I'm going to walk the fuck out. And I'm gonna have one of my cousins with me that'll punch your so hard you gonna think a Jet 2 holiday hit your bitch ass if you think I ain't gonna walk out that stuff. And please follow me to that motherfucking car if you feeling motherfucking froggy, bitch. You ain't gonna make it back to your motherfucking position at that fucking Walmart store. I'm telling you. I'm gonna tell y'all straight up like this.
She said you ain't gonna make it back. They're gonna take you out if you try to stop them. That's really what she's saying. That's a big threat right there. That's a huge threat. She's saying we'll take you out. Violence, theft and violence, both. And here's what's common with people like that. The language is extremely foul, just like liberals, extremely foul language. It comes from a dark heart. There's churches that help people, there's food banks that help people, but these people just want to take the tax dollars. Now, I think this is a guy. I don't know if I want to play him or not because he's using such foul language. You can see the words up here. He says, I'm woman. Oh, okay. Whatever. Well, let's look at that head. Blah, 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 blah. I mean, they're on drugs here. Is this person high? What the heck is all this? Let's go. Want to break up anything, put it in the basket. Oh my God. Get out of my way. I'm not paying for anything. I'm not using his language, by the way. I'm toning it down. It's just off the charts. Maybe this lady. Yeah, this lady, she's getting down on it. She's cracking down on it.
Black people crash out.
Whoops. Then we'll mute that.
Steal because we're not working. Seeing all these black people crash out about EBT taken away and pretty much saying, yeah, we're just going to steal because we're not working for nobody. I hope you guys know you're the reason the world hates us. You're the reason why everybody thinks we steal, kill, and commit every crime in the book. So thanks again, because now stuff is going to get locked up in Target now, too.
Give that girl a gold star. Give her a gold star. At least somebody is taking a stand to cut this out. You're messing us up. That girl deserves a gold star. Shoplifter caught with $3,000 in cash and an EBT card. Oh, she was loaded with cash, but she had that EBT card. I'm gonna tell y'all about this in a little bit. A lot of the same people here. Told y'all we going to eat. Uh-huh. For her. Anyway, what we got going on here? Let's look at some other stuff, and then we'll talk about this stuff in a little bit. This guy here. Now, this is the kind of person she is talking about. This guy right here. This guy, he's a maggot. That's the best I can say for him. He's a maggot. He's not a man. He's a maggot. Yeah, I said it.
Got an email from EBT. I used to get $740 a month for my two kids. And we're not getting EBT no more. They took the EBT. They saying I gotta work 20 hours a week. I'm not working for nobody. Get the fuck out of here. This is what Americans, taxpayer, work for.
Okay, you want to take money from the taxpayer. You don't want to work. You want to take somebody else's money. This guy is totally able-bodied. He just don't want to work. This is what I got an issue with right here. And so that other young black lady. This guy right here, there's a ton of them out there talking just like this guy. Yeah. I said, we work for them. That's what he's saying. Us taxpayers work for them. Seriously. I mean, are y'all happy with us taxpayers? Oh, here, come on.
Work for us. They work for me.
Taxpayer, I work for him. Yeah, I guess I do, but I ain't happy with it. This maggot doesn't deserve the air in his lungs. He needs to spit it out. He don't deserve to be breathing my air. That's what I say. He don't deserve to breathe my air. He's such a maggot. He's such a lowlife. You know, no. Why should he just sit on his couch, eat bonbons, steal our tax money, and do whatever he wants to? Oh, I ain't working. No, I ain't gonna work because you work for me. See, that's the problem. That's that attitude. I don't like that. Not for 2 seconds. Not for a trillionth of a second. That makes me furious. That is why I do not support socialism. Actually, in socialist societies, they don't put up with that either. Neither do communist societies. We're a welfare society. We're worse. And some people may get mad at me and subscribe on. If you got a problem with what I'm saying, you tell me in the chat room. I want to hear it. Spit it out. If you don't like what I'm saying now, spit it out. I want to hear it. Type it up. This guy is able to work. And I'm going to give you some more examples to go with this. Hang on. This guy is able to work. He won't work because he says, we work for him. Why? Why does he deserve it? He does not. There's that old saying that used to be popular once upon a time, if you don't work, you don't eat. What happened to that? That's where we need to be today. That is where we need to be today. This guy here, Frost, that burns me up. That whole mentality. Now, here's a lady dancing because she got to spend $3,000 in food stamps at Walmart. You see this? Look here. Well, I don't know. That music might be something I can get distracted. Oh, I stop it. I shouldn't be playing no kind of music. So I didn't know that was in there. I didn't even recognize it at first. Here's somebody who's ready for the mayhem coming. All right, I'm gonna stop the shares. We got enough of that. So I grew up. My dad was a union president. He was, he was always worried about the big guy trying to stomp on the little guy. He thought the big guy, the big companies were being unfair and trying to take away from the smaller guys. And he actually admired Mao Zedong because Mao Zedong would wear, not fancy clothes. He always wore a military uniform. It's kind of Fidel Castro, right? He wasn't putting on airs. My daddy kind of admired that back in the day. And I had a neighbor, another guy that I actually admired a lot, who was a communist. And so time I was in high school, middle school, I was actually a communist. I espoused communist ideology. I had a school teacher in 10th grade, got me aside and talked to me and kind of gave me all the lowdowns on the realities of how poorly communism works. And back then, the school teachers had there's someone that had two brain cells, and he convinced me that without the incentive to produce, that you would fail as a society, and that communism was destined to doom. We talked about it for a long time. It took him some work to convince me, but he did. I can always be reasoned with, but I was still socialist until I went in the army. I mean, I had worked for a year in a cotton mill. Let's say when I worked, I didn't have a golden spoon put in my mouth. When I got out of high school, I married. I went and worked at first in a chicken plant, hanging live chickens. One of the nastiest, dirtiest jobs. Paid a whopping $4 an hour if you could stay there long enough to get it. And I didn't even make that. I was making two something. I got $4 an hour when I went to the cotton mill, and I worked in a cotton mill. I worked my rear end off in a cotton mill, and I was supporting myself. I didn't get no welfare, and my wife, I didn't have medical insurance on her. She got pregnant. She had already gotten sick, and I had to pay out a bunch of money to pay for her hospital stay. And suddenly she was pregnant, and the doctor, doctor told us it would be almost impossible for her to get pregnant, but she did. So to pay for that, I joined the army. I was still pretty much a socialist, but when I went in the army, I saw how the government really worked. I also saw the things Jimmy Carter was doing. I knew it would prevent us from being able to develop space. I knew this by the end. I figured out that those socialist policies weren't going to work. And I saw in the army how there weren't no such thing as a customer. You were a problem. If you went to admin, you needed something done. They'd file it on the shelf behind them and says, "Okay, when I get around to it." And your urgency is, your problem is not my problem. They had some, I forgot what the old saying was. They would say, I went to the hospital and I saw a woman when we went through the childbirth training. They taught us that, if you were spotting blood, get to the hospital real quick because, you needed to be seen. So I was in the hospital waiting at the Fox Army Hospital at no, it wasn't Fox. What was the name of it? Fox was the Huntsville one. At Redstone. What was the name of the one in Womack Army Hospital at Fort Bragg, North Carolina? We were there waiting, and some woman come in. She was all panicked because she was spotting blood, and the medics there just didn't want to see her. They were trying to send her back home. It's nothing. Go home. They didn't look at her. Didn't want to talk to her. And it's like, holy Jesus Christ, this is nuts. But everywhere you'd go in a government situation, you're not a customer. You're a problem. And I've seen this in government. I've worked as a government contractor for decades. Government is not efficient. Efficiency isn't their goal, and no economy based on that is going to be successful. Government is a leech upon our society. I switched real fast to being not a socialist, but I mean, by the time I could vote for Reagan, I was voting for Reagan. That was my first presidential election. I got to vote 2 years earlier before I went in the army. Actually, I voted for in the governor's election in Alabama. But it didn't take long for me to see the light. But one of the things that really frosted me, just made me mad, was here I was budgeting to buy dried beans and macaroni to feed myself and my son and wife. I was budgeting to buy meager stuff. Buying a Coca-Cola was a major decision. I was poor. But let me tell you something. I go in a grocery store and I see some woman come up with 2 carts loaded down to the brim with meats, fancy stuff, highly processed packaged stuff that costs a ton of money. I still wouldn't buy this to this day. Just all kinds of stuff. To this day, I've not bought food like this woman did. I can't afford, never have been able to really afford to buy just carts load of meats and stuff. And I would see her fingers would be covered with rings, jewelry, necklaces, fine dress, and then just shell out food stamps to pay for it. I thought, what? And I'd make it a point to watch what they drove off in. It'd always be like a new car. It's always, every time I always watch, see what they drive off in. It'd be a nice car. And I'd be driving off in some jalopy and barely run. And that made me mad. Here I'm a taxpayer. I'm paying for that, for her to rob me. No, I ain't never liked it since then. And that's why I became Republican, more or less a libertarian Republican, definitely not a socialist. And that's that. In fact, they want gun control on that side. I can never abide by that. And over the years, that side's gotten even loonier and crazier. Pardon me if you don't like my language about this, but all this gender stuff, all this, I don't mind if somebody makes their own decision, about how they want to live their life. Hey, whatever you want to do, I'm fine. But don't go put this out on the kids. No, I'm not good with that. I am not good with that. Don't try to convince kids that are going through puberty that they're not who they are destined to be, that they need to change everything and send them off to take hormones that's going to run them for the rest of their life, that has lifelong effects on them, and then send them to the butcher shop. And the doctors that abide by that, they're no better. That stuff I'm not happy with. I'm beyond not being happy. I'm being charitable here. You don't mess with kids, but they do. And they think that's okay. Let these kids grow up, decide when they're grown. If they want to go off and do that, fine. But when they're kids, they don't know yet. They don't even know who they're going to be yet. They got no clue yet. And people are trying to whisper in their ears to go off and do these procedures upon them that a lot of them regret later. Send them to the butcher shop, alter little lives forever. Now, if you think that's good, put a 1 in the chat room. If you think that's horrendous, put a 2 in the chat room. Well, let's see what y'all think about it. You may not agree with me, but pay us bigot. Who's the bigot? Boris, who's the bigot? You saying I need to pay you? Who's the bigot? And define what's been a bigot. I want to hear it. Speak up. Speak up. So anyway, the news portion of the show, we're into the chat part now. But there are just some parts that some things I'm not happy with. And this whole, throw the borders wide open, let all the illegals in, you let gang members in, you let them bring in drugs that are wrecking our country. And then you turn around and you fight to keep them here. When we elect an administration elected where the primary issue in the campaign was immigration, we elected the administration and the Congress we got today to get these people out. And they should start with the gang members and sleeper cell members, but then the other side, they want to fight the law enforcement who are doing their jobs. I got a problem with that. I'm serious. But they got all kind of lunacy. They want to let in the gangs, shut down the police, take away your right to bear arms at the same time. That is, in my book, nuts. That's like, they ain't got nothing between here and here except some kind of mush that don't make no sense to me. Like something was run through a microwave oven. Where is the sense in that? Am I missing something? If you think I'm missing something, tell me in the chat room. There's people that ain't going to agree with me. I know that. I post stuff on Facebook all the time, and there's a ton of liberals start chiming in and talking nonsense. Blah, 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 blah. Or they'll say something that we know is true. Well, that's not so. Why? Because they listen to the lamestream news media. It tells them the same thing all day, every day, all day, every day, all day, every day. They're hypnotized. That's why I've repeated that 3 times. And hypnosis works, even when people are awake. When I was in high school, I riding a school bus. I wasn't even high school yet, middle school. No, I might have been 9th grade before I started driving. I believe it was in middle school. I had a good buddy sitting next to me. I said, I can make you itch. He said, no, you can't. I said, absolutely, I can make you itch. He said, no, you can't. I just said, you're itching. You're itching. You're itching. You're itching. I kept that up. As a little bit, he started scratching all over, and he said, shut up, shut up. Yeah, it's powerful. That's what they do. They tell the same lies so much they believe them themselves. like Joseph's brothers that sold him into captivity. They told their dad Abraham so many times he was dead, they started believing themselves. When they actually, the ones that sold him saw him alive, they can't believe, you're dead. They believed their own stinking lies. They said them so many times. That's what happens. That's a mass hypnosis. That's called programming. That's what we call television shows programs. They program you, right or wrong. What do y'all think? If y'all think I'm wrong, put a 3 in the chat room. If you think I'm right, put a 4 in the chat room. That's why I don't watch that mess. I'm not watching TV. It programs you, programs you. You know, all the dads are stupid, you know, idiots. You know, they're trying to break up the American family. They really did it. Now we're paying for it. And so did the social welfare system. You know, it rewarded people to have kids outside of wedlock because they could get more money. Like that guy talking about his 2 kids, you know, I got EBT for my kids. Well, he wouldn't work 20 hours, so he's got his benefits cut. There wasn't nothing wrong with him. He could work. He could work. Nothing was wrong with him. But in any event, he chose, oh, you owe me. You work for me. Why? Why? My gosh, you got to deserve it. What do you do to deserve it? Nothing. That guy's a maggot. Pure and simple. A maggot. So I had a guy that was saying he'd work for me. He'd do certain work. But when I call him to work, he wouldn't come. I chase him down. He wouldn't work. I didn't want to work. Why? He was getting those benefits. He didn't want to work. Big, tall, strapping guy with giant muscles, could run and chase. What did he do? He had a beautiful girlfriend, lots younger than him, gorgeous woman. He was out running up and down the streets trying to find some other woman to mess around with. He would literally get in his vehicle and spend the whole time running down the streets, chasing tail or more drugs or something. I don't know. But he'd always be on the drug. Bing, 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 bing. Yet these people must pay for them to do whatever they want to do, sit on a couch and munch buns while some of us work. Let me tell you something. I was poor for quite a few years. Seriously. I went to college. I put myself through college. I did it while I was working. I got a divorce. I had custody of 2 kids. I didn't even, you know, I just, the situation there was such that I decided, hey, give me the kids. I'm not even going to ask you for jack. Just give me the kids. I supported myself and 2 kids while going to college. At the time, I was making maybe 10,000 a year, trying to put myself through college and do these things. I was not on any welfare, but I got through school. And fortunately, I ran my credit cards to the moon and beyond. And so I went in horrendous debt pretty soon. And, you know, I've been kind of sucking wind since, although I did have an opportunity to pay that off a few years back, and I invested heavily into my worm farm operation. And it started working good. On paper, it should have all worked good, but I ran into lousy labor. The labor destroyed me. So my huge investment that I could pay the place off for and pay my debts off for was all wasted. I mean, I could have made a killing if I could get people to line up and do what needed to be done. I mean, I had done this kind of thing. I had worked organizations and had people work for me in volunteer organizations. They were professionals. We were working on space projects. But when I went to do the worm farm and try to hire wage grade labor, that was a huge mistake. It wiped me out. So yeah, I've made mistakes. I admit it. But my mistake was trusting people I should not have ought to trusted. I know better now. So I'm reinventing my life over again. I'm not going to put myself in a situation where I'm going to do that again. So I got worms again, but I'm going to scale this up where it's something I personally can handle. And it's going to not be something I got to hire people for. No, done with that. I am done with that. Maybe I get robots one day. Now, if I had a real professional individual show up and just say, Greg, I can do this, then I would change my mind. It's okay, I'll give you the opportunity. But, I would have to really vet that individual out. But I've had a couple of people tell me past they would do X, Y, and Z. Didn't do it. Didn't do it. I invested a lot of money into what I built up in that place in Alabama, and I let it go for a small fraction of what I put into it. And it was a mess. So wasn't even able to pay off my debts. I still got debt. That's why I'm still working. I still have debt. I'm trying to get my cost of living down. That's what I'm trying to do right now. I still have debt, and I am working. But when I see somebody just come out, well, I'm not going to work. You pay me. Oh, really? Really? I went in the army. You need to be in the army. You need to have a drill sergeant stomp on you like I did. It's good for you. Builds character. Well, now the drill sergeant's not supposed to do it anymore. I think maybe they're changing that back. Yeah. Somebody needs to tell people they're a maggot occasionally just to get their attitude adjusted, to get their perspective set. So, but I grew up, my dad, one thing my dad was big on, you had to work. My dad did not like anybody that didn't work. I said he was a bit on the socialist side, but he did not believe in lazy people. That made him madder than anything. Somebody wouldn't work, he would be mad as spitting fire about it. He did not like that for 2 seconds. And when I was a kid growing up, me and my buddies, we got on the job. We'd all compete to see who'd do the most work. That's what we did. It just seemed normal. We would compete to see who could do the most. And then I had these people working for me. I actually caught them competing to see who could screw off. Blew my mind. Who could screw off the most? That was their competition. I couldn't believe it. How do we go from just a few years when I grew up to this now? How do we get from there to here? Anyway, no dads at home. That's part of it. Or dads that aren't dads. A good man is going to tell his kids to work, but also they're going to empower their kids. And you're not going to run them down psychologically and say, you can't do this, you can't do that. I've seen parents do it. Don't ever do that to your kids. Never tell a kid what they can't do. Because you are putting something in their head, a limit, a stop. And the only stop they really got is you. Do not tell your kids that kind of crap. Everybody is born with the same number of brain cells and pretty much the same capacity. And even the ones that may be physically incapacitated, look at Stephen Hawkins. He was a mental giant. Why? Because he was physically incapacitated in part. You become a savant. So you may have a mental illness in one area, but boy, you might be able to tear that piano because your brain is going to reorganize to do something else. And your brain's a muscle, just like any of them. Anybody can exercise. The math didn't come easy to me. I had to work hard to get through college. I mean, I was up all hours studying. That's how come I don't sleep anymore, because that's what it took for me to get through college. That's why I drink coffee a lot crazy. 2 hours a night was my normal. That's how I lived for years, trying to do that. And then later trying to get some other projects, start rocket companies. That's where I should have stayed instead of trying to hire wage grade people. The professional people, what issue like that. But anyway, that's just my 2 cents. You may not agree with that. I may lose half of my subscribers over this, but I'm just putting it out there. This is the truth, and I can substantiate and back it up on one side and down the other. Like I said, I've seen what I see time and time and time and time and time again in the grocery stores when I was a soldier buying dried beans and macaroni, not just once or twice, over and over and over and over. I saw it so many times. And then having people work for me that wouldn't work because they didn't want to work because they were getting money. Oh, yeah, and they could also go around and steal stuff. Yeah, lots of them prefer to go around and steal things than work to support their nefarious habits. This is why I'm no fan of the drug stuff. If you got to steal something to support your habit, then you don't deserve to be walking around free. In this catch and release program, I do not agree with that. Lock them up. The reason jails are there for public safety. We know you can't rehabilitate these people. There's a few now that do turn around. I do know a couple that turned around. Like I said, there was one woman. She had been like that, but she turned her life around. I mean, she was one of the best workers I had. And sometimes she'll call me up and say, Greg, I need $10. I need $20. I'll send it to her. I'm not generous. I do believe you got to help people out, but they need to deserve it. It needs to be a genuine need. It needs to be not just somebody trying to milk you so then go out and buy some drugs. And that's what you usually see when you go by some of these stores on the street corner, somebody holding the sign. They're usually just looking for a chance to go buy some drugs. I've seen young men do that who are totally fit to go out and work, but they chose to do that instead of working. I wouldn't hire them because I'd be afraid they'd steal stuff. So I don't even let anybody come to my place. There's only 3 or 4 people get to come down here. There's only 3 or 4 people that know who I am, where I am, and what I got. And that's what I want to keep it. So I'm not hiring people just to have anybody and everybody come in and out of here. No. Good friends. And I got a couple workers that come down here that I know and have been vetted, and they're good people. That's it. I don't need anybody else around there. And I'm going to keep it that way. So I'm tired of just having anybody and everybody trips through. No, that's just trouble. Just trouble. So anyway, so sorry for going on this long diatribe, but this is why I'm a libertarian, really. The Republican Party's got some issues. Well, the Libertarians got some issues too. I believe in freedom. I believe that you need to work as long as you can. I got no problem with social safety nets when somebody needs it. I don't have any problem with the idea of retirement, especially something somebody pays into for years and years and years and years and years. That's not welfare. Social Security is not welfare if you pay into it all your life. It was mandated on you. You had no choice, right? So you should get it later. They didn't give you a choice to opt in or out of it. It's you pay in, you pay in, you pay in. And it don't give a whole lot back for what you pay in. But have people cross our borders and just start getting it? Able-bodied people? No, I don't. The people that allow that, the people that support that, are, in my humble opinion, traitors. They're tearing this country down. We are already now $38 trillion in debt. Can't pay. The interest on our debt exceeds our military budget. That's insane. And then they cry if we're talking about cutting the government. The whole thing's going to fall apart. That's what's going to happen. And all these programs are going to fall apart. That's why you got to find some way to sustain yourself. Grow your own food. You can do a little market garden, sell a few things, have a small worm operation when you can handle yourself. You can make a little money on it. It's not a bad thing. Grow some mushrooms, grow some microgreens, get a skill, a trade, make something. That's what to do. It's all work. Work as long as as long as you can work, do something. Because, the whole idea that, all these retirement accounts you've got based on the stock market, they can all go poof, poof, right? The stock market crashes, the economy crashes, Social Security can go poof, especially when the government defaults. I didn't say if, I said when. There's a way out. It requires vastly growing our economy, and that requires having probably just building factories here and roboticizing. As long as trade is cheap to overseas, it's not going to happen. That's one reason I support tariffs. You're going to pay the same taxes one way or another. Why not reprogram where you pay the taxes in such a way that's strategically beneficial to the country? And I've had some people fuss with me in the chat room about that. But, what is wrong with that approach? Tell me. Why buy cheap crap from overseas when they turn around and build weapon systems to attack you with it? When they take the money they made and hack your systems, hack everything you've got. When they send you stuff that's contaminated. When they set up biolabs in your country. When they send sleeper agents to be inside your nation. That's what those cheap goods are buying us. In my humble opinion, we need to cut China off. Forget you. Bye. Out of here. We can't exactly do it right now because we still need some of those strategic metals. We still need the medicinals. Boy, it was stupid getting ourselves in a position where we depended upon them for that. That was stupid. There's no two words about it. It's one word. Stupid. Absolutely stupid. Okay, I'll give you two words. Absolutely stupid. How about that? Anyway, that's my 2 cents on that matter. I'll see what everybody's saying in the chat room. For that, I'm going to put it up here on the computer. I may lose half my subscriber base on this, but I'm telling you, I can back up every single thing where I come from. And some of you guys might be socialists. Yeah, I was too until I learned better, until I grew up. I outgrew it. I outgrew it. That's what you got to know. I outgrew that nonsense. Thankfully, there's that old adage that if you're not socialist when you're a kid, you don't have a heart. If you're not conservative when you grow up, you don't have a brain. I believe that. Anyway, all right, we got Colonel Cole in the house. Ken Zoe, Cha Cha, good to see you. Stan, Arnold. Yeah, I see a lot of my Freedom Restoration Foundation folks here. The Watchman. So what happened on my moderatorship? Oh, maybe, I don't know. Maybe he had one on this channel. Now, this is not Green Graves. Let's see. We'll make him mod. There. I'll do the same for Colonel Cole. I know him well. Looks like we got all moderators in here. Almost. You gotta help anybody. Come in here and try to pull some nefarious junk in the chat room. Any trolls? There's something wrong with Arnold. Somebody said something and nobody told me. What's that? Anyway. Nanny Anderson, good evening. I'm quitting my process of watching this channel if I don't have any answers. What are you looking for answers for, the Watchman? Greg, when you read the chat, I'm disappointed. Nobody said anything to me. I feel demoted and thrown. Dude, I don't know if you had a wrench on this channel earlier or not. I didn't take it away from you. And only I can do that. Now, sometimes, I don't know, maybe something the algorithm can screw it up. But you got a wrench. Tom, where are you? Hello, Watchman. All right, so somebody's talking to you. So I bought a G. Oh, yeah. Guys, the Glocks are going to be limited. So you need to keep an eye on that. All right. I'm just now reading the chat room. That's, sometimes listen, when I say to you guys, occasionally I'll glance over and I'm looking just to see if I got a super chat. But I don't read the chat room until I get down to the main news portion. Why? A lot of people, especially people that watch the following morning, they're wanting to get breakfast in a hurry, and they don't like long videos because they're in a hurry. So my deal to them is, we'll watch the first part, and then we'll do the chat stuff later. That's why I do. That's why I read the chat later, and I do more chat reading than most YouTubers. Yep, there you go, Stray Kitten. She put it out there right. Watch and wait for the second part of the video when Greg reads the chat to ask him. There we go. You weren't demoted, the Watchman. Let's see here. Tom Murray, you think I'm going to get my SSS in November? You should. You should. I haven't heard that there's going to be an issue with that, at least not yet. Now, the administrators may have a problem. Hopefully it's if you're on autopilot, you should get it. The city food markets will be worst. Yeah, things in cities. Oh my gosh. I want to tell you all about cities. If you're in a big city, get out. Holy smoke. It's the worst place you can be. The cities are just going to be mayhem. What have I done? I got as far out as I can get. I'm a long distance from a small little town. Forget the big cities. Even an hour's drive is just a small city. So I'm to get to a decent sized city, I got to drive 2 hours. That's Flagstaff. Phoenix is about about a 4-hour drive from me. That's the big city, and that's how I like to keep it way off. A lot of mountains between them and me. And new days. So what doom and gloom is happening now? Well, we're talking about this food situation that people on EBT wanting to riot. Oh, let's see. So ahead and use Greg Butler, could please reinstate the Watchman. Yeah, okay. I'm just reading this stuff, guys. Come on, give me a break. I always tell you up front that I read the chat in the second part of the video. Bottom barrel IQ. Even if you're low IQ, you can still pick up shingles. You can carry stuff. You can still work. Pagan prepper. I was pagan prepper. Freedom cherry. So you were pagan prepper. Okay, now you're freedom cherry. All right. Good to see you. Karen Sobeck says, I agree with you, Greg. Stay safe. Entitlement is a cancer in any society. Nobody is entitled to jack diddle. Get over it. There is no such thing as entitlement. It's a myth. Contrarian barbarian. Well, that's a good rhyming name. Exactly. Handmade. It wouldn't be an issue if people didn't take advantage of the system. That's the problem, but that's what's going to happen. And they allow it. That's what a certain side of our political spectrum wanted, because they were just trying to buy votes. So we'll give you money, you vote for us. Once you got you on the system, we'll know we got you locked in. You're always going to vote for us. That's why this country's gone to a heck in a handbasket. 200 years ago, there wasn't any welfare. The community took care of themselves as a group, but now it's you owe me attitude. Exactly. In the provinces in the USA, exactly. Crows, everywhere. Oh, X. This is only about people scamming the system, not people that truly need help. Hey, like I said, there's people that truly need help. And I got no issue with that. But there are scammers out there. That man that I said was a maggot, he was a scammer. The guy that used to work for me, I talked about, he was a scammer. When somebody's totally fit and able to get out and do stuff, and when somebody's begging them to work and they won't work because they got money from the government, from my tax money, I don't like that. People live in smaller communities actually need their neighbors. Yes, yes. Live more liberal, moral lives. Exactly. People are isolated today and more so. Well, that's one reason I like my idea of the universal habitat. You can make your living out of your home. You ain't got to go nowhere. You can go back to having extended families, not move around. You can form real communities. Now, I know my neighbors here. We've got a community here. Yeah, my neighbor, the closest person living to me is an ex-Marine. Yeah, he checks everything out every day. He always does his checks, and he always carries. He packs heat. All right, Boris, what were you talking about? Pay us bigot. What are you talking about, Boris? Explain that. You want that guy to pay you? The guy called a maggot, or are you calling me a bigot? I don't know what you mean. If you call me a bigot, you don't know me. Mess with kids. Wood chipper. Okay. Exactly. That's kind of how I feel about it. Mess with kids. Boy, that gets my blood boiling. I'm trying to be charitable in what I'm saying here, but the way I feel about that is stronger than that. They lost me with the gun control. Amen, Stan. That was bad enough. But they don't know. They don't just take away your guns. Used to, they said, well, the police will take it. Well, they want to defund police too. And you know, the policeman can't get to you for 20 to 30 minutes at best. And by then, whoever wants to do ill will is already gone. Generational welfare, entitlement on top of illegals. Mm-hmm. You days, you're right. Portland police were caught on video raising the Antifa flag. Wow. The police. Yikes. How did this channel get so small? It was much bigger last time I was here. Because YouTube don't like you guys to hear the truth. They don't like conservatism. My Green Grass channel, when I first started, when just talking gardening stuff, it was growing. But then the prepper community started joining. They didn't want to hear the garden stuff. So I thought, okay, we'll talk about, I went into wild herbs and stuff like that. Just in other content I thought be more prepper oriented, bug out location, a little bit of that kind of stuff. No, all they want to hear was prepper news, conservative news. That's what they want to hear. So I'm answering my audience because I'm all into that. I ain't got no issue with that. I study news like crazy. But the platform did not like that. They slammed the brakes on my channel. On my channels. They even squelched Galactic Gregs. I don't talk any politics on Galactic Gregs. And because it's in the same account, they squelch it. They throw the brakes on me hard in every form, in every fashion, and everybody that's the conservative channel on YouTube will tell you the same thing. If you preach being independent, if you put anything out other than numbskull, brain rot content, they are not happy with you. They just want you to put brain rot crap on YouTube. Brain rot don't matter. Ha, like this dumb shit. Pardon my language. All right, Space Girls in the house. Pardon me, guys, for saying that. I'm kind of aggravated tonight. Leave the kids alone. Exactly. Leave the kids alone. So why do they want us angry at the poor people on Snap? Why do they want us angry at the poor people on Snap? I'm not angry at the poor people on Snap. What I'm angry with is the people that want to go stealing, who say they won't work. That you missed that video I played. The guy said that he won't work. He says the taxpayers work for me. He exactly said that. I can see putting more money into policing these programs for fraud. Yes. They need to take the fraud. Well, they could. They absolutely could. They didn't want to. Why? Because it was votes. So they didn't like DOGE. Because DOGE is going to deprive them of the recipients of people who they were giving money to or voting for them to keep getting their money. College is not cheap either. I know because I have all out of pocket bill to pay $29,000. Yeah, college is not cheap. It's got worse. Got worse. Let's see. What did Boris say? Yeah, let's not pick on the races here. I don't want to get into racism, folks. There was a young black lady in there. She was calling the other people out for that. What are y'all doing? If I was black, I'd be mad too. I would. I'd be mad at people putting out that kind of stuff. Absolutely. I'm here. Stock up, people. Shop early in the morning. Maniacs come out after dark. There you go, Renee. I guess that's your name. Neroliri. I wish I could return to work. My body is so messed up. Hey, there's some people just can't do it. I get that. And, I'm all for helping people that need it. I ain't got no issue with that. We need to prep because the EBT is coming soon. Yeah. Hello. The guy I was talking about who was running the road, white guy. Yeah. So I am here in San Francisco Bay Area. It will be intense here. California's $5 million on EBT. You better go to the store. ahead of time. If you're in a big city or any populated area, any area where there's lots of people on it, yeah, get ahead of the crowd. I'm eating about 2.5 hours of sleep a day. I stay up studying too. All right, handmaid. Yes, I get that. That's what college does to you. See what gets me? You work your rear end off. I mean, you spend years of effort just getting yourself where you can get up to a little higher level. And then you pay a ton of taxes once you're up there. And that's okay if it's going to good purposes, maybe. But when you got people that don't want to work, they think that they're entitled to your hard sweat because they eat, breathe, and use a bathroom. Uh-uh. No, I don't abide by that. They don't deserve it. They need to be cut off. Nope, you get nothing. You will never get anything unless you get disabled. And if you disable yourself, you ought to go to jail. You know, when I was in the Army, if you did anything stupid that caused you to get injured, like if you shaved your head, if you know you had a crew cut, but if you shaved your head all the way, they'd give you an Article 15 because it said you can get sunburn on top of your head and just damaging government property. That's when you understood what GI meant. Oh, I'm a GI. I'm government issued. You belong to the Army when you're in the Army. Holy smoke! Yeah, that was an eye opener. Oh, you shave your head, you get an Article 15. Yes, sir. Article 15 for shaving your head. Now, I don't know, Colonel Cole, if it was like that when you were in, but that was the way it was in my day. So, see, I got something in my eye. I wonder when Greg is going to look at the chat. I'm looking at it now. I'll look for Trump to issue an anti-emergency order prior to this, maybe. What's the L4 stand? Space where I go, we're going to raise 2 children by myself. Dad wouldn't help pay for anything, no welfare. It can be done. I did it. I raised 2 kids and going to college and working at the same time. I feel, oh, I can't go to school. I got to work. I got kids. Oh, yeah, you can. I did it. And I did it without a mate. I took custody of my kids. Well, Christian John still in the stealing. Because it's not the stores that are taking it from people. What about the small mom and pop shops? See, they're talking about breaking in cars. They're talking about breaking in homes. What are you going to do to come to your home? Here's the thing. I was poor. I had 2 kids. I was trying to put myself through school, but I worked for a living. I didn't steal jack diddle. I didn't get welfare. I didn't get EBT. Never took EBT. Freedom Cherry. Sorry, you don't have the freedom to steal from others. You do have the freedom to make your own money. Bingo, Freedom Cherry. No, Jesus didn't say you could steal. What he has said is that, he would uh, he would encourage people to help you. There are people out there that will help you if you ask, if you're in need. These people aren't interested in that. They're just interested in stealing. Best friends are prayer away. Amen. Our country is debt free. What country are you in? Jeff B 9965. What country are you in? That's how we need to be. Yeah, you forget, Christian John, there's something called the 10 Commandments. And one of them is, thou shalt not steal. It also said, thou shalt not covet your neighbor's property. That's what liberalism is founded on. It's covet. It's being jealous. Oh, somebody's ahead of me. Well, I should have part of what they got. Yeah, you're not asking what they sacrificed to get there. years of my life when all my cohorts were running around and playing, all I was doing was studying or working, studying and working, taking care of kids, studying, working, taking care of kids. I wasn't running around playing and having a big old time and partying. No. Yet I owe them. Well, crap. No dang way. Not at all. They're not entitled to my money. But yet the government takes my money and gives it to them. So to me, that's stealing. The government steals from the citizens with income tax. There should be no income tax. How did our government tax the nation before? We went through a very prosperous period in the late 1800s. Late 1800s, our economy grew like crazy. Tariffs. It wasn't until 1913 they had an income tax. 1913, they swore it would never be more than 10% because that's what the church is tariffed at. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. You see, I can trust the government with that. It's worth $100 billion per year just to help people and stop them from breaking into cars and looting. What are we going to do when it happens? Our country's finished. Okay, that's what we should have law enforcement for. But you should also have the right to protect yourself because in the final analysis, ain't nobody going to cover you except you. Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program. Read the alert. Where's the alert at? Oh, how come my chat won't scroll back up? We are. Now it will. Grammar errors, that's fine. I can't type worth a dog, especially when I'm on the phone, because I got big thumbs, big fingers, and the little letters are way smaller, and I'm always hitting the wrong letter, and so I try to hit the back arrow, and I might be hitting some other letter, and just, If they break in our place, they're going to get some special medals. Free special medals. There you go, Space Girl. Well, Christian John, the whole problem is they're letting the whole government go down. But here's what you got to understand. The government's going to crash. I don't care what. Unless they make a big change and try to juice the GNP of this nation big time, and they're not taking the right steps to do that from neither party because they don't have the brain cells to put it together in their head how to do it. Elon Musk might, but most of the people in government are too stupid to understand how to really grow the economy. Too stupid. They need to go to some engineers and some industrialists and ask them. But the politicians are all they care about is another vote. And the politicians aren't the brightest lights on the Christmas tree. I got to tell you that. But they're fighting over funding, basically, that would cover illegals getting Medicare. That's what it boils down to. So it's a travesty. Damn, I'm trying to get certain comments. My thing jumps. Hey, Colorado Jen, how you doing? Well, I need some worms. Okay, DJ. Well, I'm not selling for a little while. My herd's got to grow, and I do not want to do major sales again. It'll be anything I sell is going to be small. It's going to be small operations. I got to do it by myself. Hi, Greg. It's much worse here in Canada. Arnold, I know that's true. I feel for you guys. I really do. You guys, it's tough. And see, that's what they want to create here. It's what y'all got up there. And they're not done. They want to take you further into socialism. They want to put you in the house of Klaus. That's what they want to do. The Democratic Party is over. The Democratic Party the problem is they're in a do loop. They're in a self-destructive do loop because they're losing people now. They're losing people. So what they're trying to do is speak more to their base. But their base is becoming a smaller and smaller set of people with some really loony ideas. Like AOC. So they're trying to be more and more to that base. But the more they get that base, the more they're going to lose people. The more they lose people, the more they shrink down the base. They're in a death spiral. A one-party country is not a good thing. To be honest, you need some give and take. But where we're at now is a bad spot. Now, as the Democrats go down, they will probably try to put up a fight. We might have something of a mini civil war in this country. If we're already in a cold civil war, in some places it ain't cold. So this is when y'all got to watch out. And I'd say don't put all your faith in any one person, not even Donald J. Trump. Don't make an idol out of any person, any human being. We all have flaws. And once somebody gets too powerful, it corrupts their head. Power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolute. There's very few exceptions. And Marcus Aurelius might have been an exception. He was the philosopher emperor. His kids weren't so good as he was, not by a long shot. But so let's see here. 110 people watching now. You won't grow unless y'all share exactly Freedom Cheer. Y'all got to help me out. Share these videos. I really need help sharing the videos to get this channel growing. This channel's not been doing so well. I've been putting more stuff on Green Greg's, but I'm trying not to get so political on Green Greg's, just because I'm trying not to squelch it. But Green Greg's is not growing either. So I need help, guys. Y'all need to help me out because the algorithms, the platform, do not like me. So, all right. Well, we'll be on 76 minutes. Oh, this is going to be a short video. So the bottom line is you can expect there to be some chaos in the markets after the 1st of November. Some people may be desperate. And even if they fix this for now, Watchmen, don't get caught in the web, guys. Even if they fix it now, this is going to happen sooner or later. The lights go out, there ain't going to be no welfare. There ain't going to be no stores either. There ain't going to be no stores. What are you going to do then? What's going to happen? And it's going to happen anytime. You just don't know. So all the sun's got to do is throw out a big enough coronal mass ejection. It's game over. What the sun threw out on the other side a couple of days back, when those sunspots come back around to our side, you better be praying that they've calmed down. You better pray they've been calmed down. It's the end of the stores, the end of all that money. You got what you got, and that's all you got. It's like you're in a game of musical chairs, and once the music's over and you sit down, what you got is all you got. That's why I tell you guys to prep, to get ready. That's why I tell you guys that. That's why I say it over and over and over and over. So if you think you got some check coming that's going to take care of you, even if that don't happen, there's $38 trillion in debt, unless the government suddenly wises up and figure out how to do something. Well, these two parties been in such opposition, even if they knew how to do it, they probably couldn't do it. They can't pass a budget right now, so how are they going to do something that's really revolutionary that's going to make this country grow like crazy? The current configuration of government, it's not happening. But most politicians aren't smart enough to figure it out in the first place. Hey, Jude, how you doing? I'm prepped. Yeah, I know you are. And she knows how to grow food. She grows a lot of food. New Days grows a lot of food. There you go, Freedom Chair. I appreciate you, Freedom Chair. You've been a good contributor here. Say goodbye to your job. Yes, exactly, Christian John. No job. Nothing. You got what you got. The game is over. You got to be able to get by on your own at that point. And no, it ain't gonna be pretty. And that's why you got to be prepped for it. You got to be prepped mentally, physically, psychologically. Get right with your maker. Tell your family and friends you love them. Colorado John, I'm glad to hear you're doing good. Really am. Jason Smith's in the house. We haven't seen you in a while. Where you been hiding out? How many hams can you grab in 30 seconds? Oh my gosh. Alive and armed. There you go. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I know she survived quite a turmoil. We used to pray for her a lot because Judy was going through a horrendous sickness when that bug cough first went around. It hit her hard, but she survived. She's tough. So I'm glad to hear that. Probably need to see about some more beard balm. We need to talk about that. So we'll figure out a way to promote that. Christian says, I would rather just flee to another country when the time comes if civilization is over there. There may not be, it could be worldwide. If it's a CME or World War, and what other country you can go to? A lot of the countries don't have freedom. Authoritarianism is on the growth. Norway is in the house. Okay, very good. Glad to have Norway in the house. Chris, let's see. C. Stone, no property tax. Are you Curtis Stone by any chance? C.S. Stone? I agree, no property tax. No income tax, no property tax. Norway, there you are. Norway, 1936. Other countries will still have governments. We are the only one when the government shuts off. Well, you can have external events like the CME. The sun don't care. The sun don't care what country you're in. The CME, strong enough, will affect the entire world. Nuclear war, if it's big enough, will affect the entire world. And China is trying to grow their authoritarian system. So, and they're getting their feet in a lot of countries in South America, unfortunately, and Africa. So you got to pay close attention where you go to. Now in Bolivia, I think they just had a change of guard over there. I think they just went conservative. Norway has a lot of underground infrastructure. That's good. Hey, the Norwegians got the good sense to stay out of the European community. And they get a thumbs up right off the bat. They had the good sense to stay out of the European community. So the Norwegians, they've got some brain cells. Proud of them for that. And I know some of my ancestral blood comes from that region. Atomic Cafe future. Could be. Hey, YT messed up names in chat. It's confusing for me. Oh, when they put the ampersand in front of them, yeah. They didn't used to do that. All right, folks. Yeah, I've kind of let it out, but you know why I'm conservative. If you've listened to the whole thing, if you haven't, catch it on a rewind. It's personal experiences, things I've seen and dealt with. And in my opinion, what is actually fairness? Hey, Watchman, are we happy now? Leroy Wigger, almost sounds like Uyghur. Says you should research Trump's team more. What do you mean by that? I said, don't worship no man. Let's see. Norway opened pipeline to Poland the day after the Nord Stream pipeline broke. Yeah, smart business. All right. All, all good, Stan. It's not your fault or responsibility. The situation in Canada. Yeah. Hey, the United States could be in just all right. Good. I'm glad you're happy, Watchman. The United States could have easily slipped down the same road. That's where the Democratic Party wanted to take us. And that's a shame. There used to be a time when you had some conservative Democrats. Some of them had made a little sense. They ran them all off. Norway has a lot of hydropower too. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, I admire the Norwegians. I do. Good, strong country. So that's one nation I do admire. And hey, I can live with the weather too, because I lived in Alaska 2 years. And I'll have a video coming out on Galactic Greg's tomorrow, should be. Uh, I lived in Alaska 2 years. I lived at Fort Greely. Every day I looked at Mount Hayes. And believe you me, I knew everybody on Fort Greely. Seriously, knew them. So I've been seeing all these claims for years about UFO bases under Mount Hayes and U.S. troops from Fort Greely working with the aliens on Mount Hayes. So you got to watch my video. I finally saw one too many of those articles. You know what? I'm going to do a video on this. So you can watch the video tomorrow. My Galactic Greg's channel needs some help. It's been demonetized. And I put some content on it. It's got, some watch hours. It seems like in the bottom, I got to get up to 3,000 watch hours. So I'll get like 600 watch hours and they give me credit for like 100. So what are they doing? YouTube is really trying to stomp me in every way I turn. They're really trying to stomp me. So what do you think about Atlas? Well, handmade, go to my Galactic Greg channel. I put out 4 videos where you get about 4 hours worth of content on there. You can also see me on Leak Project talking about it with Rex a couple of days back. But do go to my Galactic Greg's channel and watch my videos. I think it's strange. I think it's probably a rock, probably an asteroid, not a comet. But there are some high peculiarities to it that you better watch out for. So we got to keep our eyes open just because. And you got to wonder if our government's not going to use it as an excuse to pull something. I think that their plans, they did want to pull something. I think it was a little bit further down the clock. So I think this kind of calls for hand. Thank you, Jason. So also I got this video on Galactic Greg. It's called I may change the thumbnail on it, make it more Halloween like here today or tomorrow. I did a video. I've come up with an answer to the Fermi paradox. There was one theory of the Fermi paradox. It was almost there, almost answering, and it was called the dark forest. But it didn't quite take it where that needed to go. So I really completed it. I came up with a theory, my very own theory to the Fermi paradox, and I call it the dark fortress. It's saying that a civilization to remain silent and hidden would live in comets. And as crazy as that sounds, there's vast resources in comets, enough that you could build in the comets in our Kuiper belt and our Oort cloud around our own star, 35,700 times the surface area of the Earth in little mini inside-out worlds that rotate to provide artificial gravity. And you could have trees and forests and rivers and parks inside of those. You could support a population of at least 2.2 billion times the population of planet Earth today. That's over 18.4, I think, quadrillion people. So go watch those videos. It's pretty amazing. Hey, KP either. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Thank you, sir, for that. Chris Christopherson was the king of paradox. Yeah. He was a heavy drinker and did one of the big Christian songs. Kind of interesting. He played in the Planet of the Apes movie too, one of them. So interesting. So ahead and use. My 92-year-old mom has a marriage proposal. She is considering it. I might have to take a trip back to Rockwell, Texas, back in March of 2026. Wow, your 92-year-old mom. She's going to start life all over again. Maybe she'll be a teenager again, Judy. So you still got a lot of years to have a lot of fun there, Judy. Who knows? Yeah, if you got a 92-year-old mom that's looking forward to stuff like that, hey, she might live a long time to come. That's awesome. Good for her. Living inside a comet that sounds wild. Exactly. I'll have to do some more videos to expand on that concept too. So Christian John, check that out. Check it out. I talk about that in the Dark Fortress video. Now, that is kind of a dark topic, so I kind of hyped it up. I created an ambience, kind of a scary, spooky ambience, and most of the video is poetry. I explain it poetically. KP Heathen ought to appreciate that Odin was the god of poetry, the god of not just the god of war, poetry and gardening and agriculture. Yes, and if you notice, I do like alliteration, which was the Nordic Old German form of poetry. Ring Gregs, Galactic Gregs. Hey, Allison always alliterates. Anyway, so I do believe in greater creator. So, yeah, some people started questioning me about that. So, anyway, we've had a lot of fun tonight, but you kind of get where I stand on things, I hope. Christopherson was the one stealing people off of planes where they created a paradox. What? I hadn't heard that. Christopherson was stealing people off of planes. Wow. That I've not heard. Stealing people off of planes. Huh. That's odd. I hadn't heard that. You were meant to go out to get her. Hello, and carry a sharp axe. There you go. Yeah, I can throw an axe. Yes. Gunganir, that was his instrument. As he rode Schleppnir. Anyway, ho, ho, ho. Origins of Santa Claus. See all these Santas back here? Oh, you just hit the rewind. Okay, Michelle Davis. Yeah, watch it all from the beginning. And I hope everybody has a great night. Let me check where we go. So I don't know if Kim Possible's at the house or Michelle maybe. Kim works, so she's not always able to comment, but if she's in the house, she usually sends a donation. Oh yeah, Colorado Jen's in the house. I think I missed her a couple times. She did send me a check in the mail, so salute to Colorado Jen. Thank you very much. And let's see, I'll check my email, see if I got anything. See if anybody's using my PayPal. I change the email. Ding, ding, ding. Not tonight. Not tonight. Anyway. Well, let me get a little monetization in this video. Maybe I'll replay it after we do it. Just come back and watch it and let it play. But show it, no, share it, mainly share it, especially with preppers and homesteaders. People need to understand that. Colorado Jam, thank you so much. Appreciate your support. So do do watch my videos, let them play. Do the same thing with Electric Greg's videos. I need that channel to get monetized. I put a lot of content on recently, trying to get it up, and some of that content should have done better. Put a lot of time and effort into the Dark Forest, excuse me, Dark Fortress video. Took a lot of time to do the research, to come up with the numbers. That took a lot of time to write it in poetry, and then to I actually recorded it twice, because the first time I didn't have a spooky enough ambience in my voice. So I redid it. I recorded that video twice, and then putting all the graphics in it. Ton of time. That video was very intensive. I even hired a guy to help me with the graphics. So I thought that video would go viral. It did not. And I don't understand why it did, really. So yeah, hit me up, watch it. Convoy is the only movie I've seen Christopherson in. Okay, yeah, he was in Convoy. He also was in one of the Planet of the Apes movies. Not the first set, but the second, not the third set, but the one in between. There was like 3 different sets of Planet of the Apes movies. He was in the one in between. Jason, all of the highwaymen seem to have a prophetic viewpoint. Hey, the Chicago state troopers are basically in rebellion against the governor. They're tired of the liberal woke mess there. They started actually protecting the ICE agents, which the governor did not like that, but they're just tired of his crap. They're tired of risking their lives catching criminals and catch and release. You know, you do all this stuff to catch this guy, and the judge turns him out as soon as you get him. Yeah, the cops don't like that. They risk their lives, and what appreciation they get for it? None. I may listen to that video. I like poetry. Yeah, just listen to it. Now, there's some points where I actually just talk, but I would say over 50% of it is poetry. And that's some of the longest poetry I put on YouTube. I've written a lot of poems. I've written ballads. I've done stuff, but that's, I would say most of it is poetic. And I got thinking afterwards, I could turn that. I could have made the rest of it poetic too, and maybe in the future. KP and Greg, we both worked at NASA. Oh, you were down in New Orleans. Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. Very good. So you were down there at the Michoud facility, right? I've been there. In fact, when I did the Halo SL2 mission, we did a joint project with NASA. We were an amateur group, and I had a visionary guy at NASA who decided he wanted to do a joint project to test the idea of launching from barges. So he chose us as the test case, and we went out on the NASA Pearl River barge. So I stayed in the Orion barge that delivers the shuttle external tanks. Back in the day, they don't use the Orion anymore. But we actually stayed in it while we were prepping for the launch on all our stuff on the on the Pearl River barge. I guess you know which barges I'm talking about. That was quite an adventure. Yeah, we got hit by a very powerful squall line when we were out on the boat. It really tore up our stuff we had it on the deck. Yeah, we were out there scrambling to save stuff and trying not to get washed over. When we had waves hit the bow and it come all the way over and hit the stern of the ship, the water would and knocked everything to pieces. Anyway, so next time we went on boats, we put everything up behind the wheelhouse. All of our launch stuff. Chris Christopherson, Willie Nelson, Johnny Cash, Stagecoach. Okay. Yeah, he's been in quite a few movies. Yeah, here. Handmaiden. Homestead security is one of my classes. Oh, therefore, I know more truth about ICE than the average person. You know, they will help fight human trafficking. Oh, yeah. You know what, guys? Human trafficking is slavery. So if you support the cartels, keeping cartel members in this country, you are supporting slavery. So here we are, once again, the Democratic Party is supporting slavery. Wow. But it's not just slavery, it's child trafficking too. I got a problem. I got a real problem with that. I got a problem with that. Build rocket boosters. Yeah, you put the external tank. Yeah, was the main product down there at Michoud. The solid rocket boosters were built up in Ogden, north of Ogden, Utah, in a place called Promontory. Been up there many times. Been up there many, many times. Willie Nelson is the last of the highwaymen. Ah, okay. That man, he just keeps living on. He also got played Jesse, you know, on Uncle Jesse on the what do you call it? The what's the name of that show? He was Uncle Jesse on oh guys, help me out. You know what I'm talking about. Boy, I can't think of the name of the show right now. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Uncle Jesse. Come on, guys, help me out. Just a good old boy. Dukes of Hazzard. There you go. Thank you. I only need one word to prompt me. Thanks, Crows. Dukes of Hazzard. You know, there was an original Dukes of Hazzard movie that had a different Uncle Jed. All the characters were different on that. That was pretty good too. Yeah, Dukes of Hazzard. That was a fun show. That was a fun show. Alrighty, folks. I think we've gone long enough. We've been on for 99 minutes. Dukes. Thank you for recognizing everybody, Arnold. Appreciate it. Alrighty, folks. We've been on for a while. I really appreciate everybody for being in here. Dude, seriously, go watch my videos. Catch us on a rewind. Just let it play. Watch my videos on swivel head. Not this is I meant on galactic grids. You'll know about 3-eye atlas. There's stuff there. And I brought up another little phenomenon that some people were thinking proof of aliens. And transient stars appearing and disappearing on photographic plates of the Hale Space Telescope at the Palomar Observatory. And some people curious, especially since there was an uptick of 45% a day before and a day after a nuclear test. So watch that video. Right? Most of the explanations are probably mundane. Most of them. But there's some wiggle room there to wonder about. I'll replay the first part. Very good. Thank you, Colorado Jan. Anyway, so I really appreciate you. Y'all cheer me up. I was planning to keep this a short video. You should hire paparazzi to film you when you go places then. There you go. Get famous, right? Some people don't want to be a Denver pilot. Exactly. He was the main Uncle Jesse. He was good at it. He was really good at it. I think didn't they have a different Uncle Jesse in the first show? Might have been. Maybe the boys might have been different. Something was different. The very first movie, there was a movie before they did a TV series. Then they did TV series. Then they did another movie years later. They had Willie Nelson's Uncle Jesse. And I forget who was Boss Hogg in that one. They had some interesting characters. Boss Hogg was oh shoot, what's his name? Played in Bandit. Well, I'm gonna get brain lot tonight. Dang, what is his name? I know I see his face. He played Smoking the Bandit too. Yeah. Anyway, I'm not good with actors tonight. Me and the actors were in old westerns. Like, yeah, amen. Watch Canada join the USA. It's biblical prophecy about it. You think, oh, that'd be interesting. Let's just hope that it votes conservative. Anyway, Mary Lonnie Anderson. What's his name? What is his name? Shoot. Anyway, Burt Reynolds. Thank you, Burt Reynolds. Yeah, I believe he wasn't he Boss Hogg in that. Jessica Simpson's Daisy. Yeah, in the movie, that last movie. True. Burt Reynolds. Hey, North Alabama hiking. Where you been? Randy said, smash a thumbs up. Thank you. All righty, folks. Yeah. Gunsmoke. That was one of the best ones. Gunsmoke was great. It lasted a long time. Bonanza. That's another long running series. Burt Reynolds. Exactly. Burt Reynolds. Yes, sir. He played with Jerry Reed. And Jerry Reed used to make some funny music. He was a country comedian singer. Sally Fields. Oh, yeah, Sally Fields. She went real liberal, I think. Fortunately. Sally Fields. She was a good actress. I'll give her credit for that. Wonder Woman. I've been in Alabama. Roll Tide. You've been in Alabama. I would hope so, North Alabama hiker. Roll Tide. That I'll agree with. Aliens, demons, the same. Yes, Crows, I agree with that. I've said that. I did a video on galactic graves, and I said they're not from space. And that's what I was talking about. Wonder Wheel. I said they're not from space. That's not saying it can't be something from space, but what we've been seeing, I don't think it's that. I agree with what crows are everywhere was saying. Tigers. Oh, uncommon news. Hey, Doug, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you too. Yeah, we're calling it a night, Doug. You'll have to catch on the rewind. We're calling it a night. Doug's got a good channel. You don't get near the views he ought to, folks. Go watch Doug's channel, Uncommon News 777. He puts out a lot of good content, a lot of how-tos and stuff too. And I got a slingshot in there somewhere he made that I got to go out and do some birdie flipping with. Yeah, he's good at making things. That's Doug, one of Doug's products right there. All right, Doug, we gave you a good plug. We gave a plug for Buddy Doug. Plug for Doug. Shut down. There we go. Plug for Doug. Amen. He's one of our insider officers in our Freedom Restoration Foundation. Good man. Really appreciate him. All righty, folks. Lulu Hogg. Oh, yeah. Lulu. Remember Lulu from Hee-Haw? Yeah, she was, what was her actual name? I don't know yet. Hee-Haw, that's a whole nother story. Doug's boy will be 1 in 4 days. Wow. Man, time's fun when you have them flies. Alan Parsons Project. Okay, I've heard of that. I don't think I ever watched it. All righty, folks. Yeah, TV maybe it used to be worth watching at one time. Long time ago. Anyway. Let's see, Greg, I forgot. Are you prior service? Yes, sir. I was stationed at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, my first permanent duty station, in Fort Greely, Alaska. I spent over 2 years in Fort Greely, Alaska. And so you're going to hear me talk about that a little bit on my next Galactic Greg's video. Because somebody thinks that my base was the joint UFO alien American soldier base. So I'll be talking about that. TJE catapults have come a long way. You'll get a new one for Christmas. All right, Doug. That's awesome. Walmart time soon there, Doug. Yeah. All right. So bottom line is, guys, the bottom line, get your shopping done before the mayhem starts. Now, somebody's really in need. Hey, I'm always for helping out somebody in need. But you better watch these guys when they turn crazy, when they get wild and go looting. Let's hope that don't happen. But there's a ton of videos over on X where people are saying, oh, we're going to go in and we're just going to take everything. We're going to run out the door. If you try to stop us, bang, bang. And they're also saying we want to go after cars, people in the parking lots, homes. Yeah, it's time to watch out. But we know when the rig goes down, that's what happens. You know, in societies, when things fail, that's historically what goes on. Now, I've talked to people who've been there in these societies that have fallen apart, like General Krasniak. I've interviewed him a few times over on Green Greg's. He's seen that happen in Serbia. My dad saw it in Germany. My dad was he was taking food from his sea rations and giving it to the kids there. And he said he'd give them the little chocolate bar because they really liked that little chocolate bar. We called it a John Wayne bar. It came packaged with some crackers. Yeah, when I was first in the Army, we ate sea rats too. And then it switched to MREs as I was getting out, and the MREs were terrible. Sea rats were tolerable. MREs, the first ones, were terrible. I hated them. But so when I was working for Grumman on Space Station, I got to a point where my boss was a German guy. He had been a fighter pilot in the German Air Force and carried a nuke around, believe it or not. So maybe he was switching to the American Air Force by then. But he was German. He was born in Germany. I guess he was an American at that point. He wouldn't be carrying the nuke. But anyway, he told me when he was a little kid, he said American soldiers would give him the chocolate bars out of their sea rats. And I looked at him and I said, Wow, that's exactly what my dad told me. He was one of the little starving kids running around at the end of World War II in Germany. So I got that story from both ends. I thought that was interesting. So, Miss Cowboy Roy. Oh, are you getting married, Roy? Miss Cowboy Roy. Who's Miss Cowboy Roy? Roy, are you getting married? Where's he at? Is he in the house? I don't see him. Scroll up. Oh, you miss him. Okay, I get you. I get you. Miss him. Never mind. Oh, that's funny. MRA's a pizza meal. Oh my gosh. Yeah, they've come a long way since they had those first ones. Those first ones were horrible. They were terrible. I hated them. The only thing good about the old MREs were they were freeze-dried fruit bars. Okay. Yes, sir. I was in the Army. Absolutely. Uh, the only thing good about the old MRE. Okay, yeah, I already read that. So, what's John Colson? John's a colonel. Is he in the house still? John is a colonel. Colonel Cole. He was in early when we first started. I know that. Anyway, I'm still dealing with the Rugrats. This late night. Yep, I bet so. There he is. Yes, John is a colonel. That's the tiny Tabasco bottles. Oh, okay. All right. Well, thanks for being here. All right, guys, share my videos. He can tell you all about the Army. He spent a little bit longer than I did. He was in after me. I think I was already out before he ever went in. So, yeah, it's been a long time. I got out of the Army back in 1983. Then I joined the National Guard for 2 years. So I've been in the U.S. Army and the Alabama National Guard. Sometimes I felt like more of a soldier in the National Guard. Some things my unit did. So it was interesting. Guys, scan post. There's probably some information you might want to see. Yeah, so the bottom line is just be careful. You can go shopping. Like I said early in the video, I'll repeat that for the latecomers. If you're going shopping near the first or after the first, drive around the store, even before you go in the parking lot, you look. Make sure there's no mayhem going on. Make sure everything looks normal. You drive in the parking lot, go in slowly and look around. Make sure nothing looks dicey. And then, kind of drive by, look in the door. When you get out and park, keep your eyes open. Look around you. Pay attention to where you're at. When you go to the door, pay special attention. When you go in, pay attention. And keep your eyes wide open. Head on slow until you get home. But you better be aware, very aware, situationally aware. Oh, Jackie plays, yeah, he played some good roles. Pal, to the moon, Alice. I always thought we should name him Moon Probe Alice for that reason. Nobody ever has done that. The Honeymooners. Then he played a sheriff on, the Bandit movie, Bandit Run. What was the name of that movie again? I said a minute ago. Anyway, so Doug is a new daddy. Yes, he is. All righty. Mark, a Marketo guy. I'm saying that right. Oh, man, it's not Mark, it's man. Man, I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Man, cat, go to. Go to. Okay, go to. Man, cat, go to. All right, I get it. Common check. So, yes, do that, guys. You keep yourself aware, but get as much as you can. Try to get at least 2 or 3 weeks stuff worth of stuff ahead of time. Whatever your refrigerator can hold. Just get yourself where you don't need to go shopping, just in case. You could be a new daddy 8 to 12 years more. Hey, I'm really happy that a really good guy is having kids to build a future strong nation here. We need good kids raised by good parents, and Doug is one of the contributors to the future of our society. Salute you, Doug, for that. We know that kid won't be growing up woke. Walmart might be closing their doors. Well, there's been a lot of stuff on YouTube about that, and some posts on X. I did check it, and there's nothing official out there about Walmart closing. Nothing official about it. So, but they could. If they could, it's going to make it harder to shop. But whatever the case is, even if they are open, you got to be careful. And it's not just Walmart, it's whatever store you go to, even a gas station. They could be raiding gas stations. Gas stations have some little bit of food in them. So, and it might be easy pickings. You get in and out of a gas station fast. And we know gas stations get robbed from time to time as it is. Be very careful, situation alert wherever you are, and stay situation alert. Don't get all zoned in on your phone where you don't know what's going on around you. I think the Walmarts will be certain locations in troubled zones. Yeah, that's most likely. The big cities and the big blue cities. Oh, why do you want to live in a place like that in the first place? If you're in one of those places, and if you can get out, get out. It's for your own good. Watch hands and eyes. Yes, you got to watch to make sure nobody's shifty, dodgy. You know, seriously. If you get a bad vibe, if your intuition says trouble, pay attention to it. You better be in tune. Twinkies and ho-hos and cheese puffs. Yeah, that's what we're going to get. That sounds about right. It's weird that some people justify stealing no more. Exactly, Ninu. Exactly. Well, part of it's lack of community. We need to rebuild communities. We need to rebuild families. In fact, the only government we should have, in my humble opinion, is a council of elders. We need these big governments are nothing but trouble. We actually need to reestablish love and reach out to other people. Seriously, because the technologies we're developing, we won't be able to survive them with the kind of hatred that's in the hearts of people today. We'll wipe ourselves out. Yes, follow your gut. CCW at all times. Make sure you cover your six. I mean, seriously, you better have your head on a swivel. I mean, looking around. That's what that means. Constantly. Anytime you're out. And you better be even alert at homes. We're talking about breaking in homes. But guess what? I'm armed to the teeth. Even when I'm out and about, I'm armed to the teeth. So, anyway. All right. C Stone. I was wondering, C Stone, if you was Curtis Stone. He didn't answer. Curtis Stone's got a big channel. He's actually a guest on my channel on occasion. Curtis Stone went on Green Grids one time. So I've had him as a guest. I was aware of that. I went to college there, but from one of the smaller towns in the area. Well, I tell you what, it's kind of late. I don't know what I'll be doing on Green Grids. I thought I might do a live on Green Grids, but I don't see it right now. I might, but it's going to be hard to pull off a live over there tonight. So don't use your key fob when opening your car. Oh, yeah, you're letting your frequency. Hey, you got a weapon. You got keys. I mean, if you hold your keys right, you know, that's a weapon. Pen can be a weapon. I like hammers myself because it's just a tool. Nobody asks about a hammer. Full auto, infinite magazine, built-in silencer. So here's what we're going to do. Since I'm probably not going to go live on Green Grades tonight, we will do a egg guess. You want to go for it? How many eggs did I get from my hens today? How many eggs did I harvest from my hens today? Somebody tried to pre-guess it. They actually got the right number, but I always tell people you got to guess it when I say go, go. How many eggs do we get? Somebody actually tried to pre-guess on Greek eggs in the comments. They actually got it right. How many eggs did I get today? Got 12 hens. It's, this time of the year they don't all lay. John, Colorado Jan, you got it, Colorado Jan. Colorado Jan is correct. Colorado Jan got the guess. We got 5 eggs. 5 eggs today. Here they are. My Easter egg are laid. Yeah, some of them a little messy. Colorado Jan guessed it right. 5. All righty. 787, 84. Wow. Well, I'd be busy if I had that many eggs. I would be one busy puppy. I ain't got 2 yesterday. Got 5 today. Yeah, it varies. It varies every day. Just never know. My Henson laid pretty much an egg a day. 12 for Rhode Island Reds. Okay. You have Easter eggers too. Okay. Yeah, I got I think three Easter egger hens. I got a bunch of Domineckers and I got one Leghorn hens. Yeah, okay, I got you. My best friend growing up, his last name was Henson, and the founder of the L5 Society, which I joined, started 3 chapters of over the years, was Keith Henson and his wife Carolyn Henson. So I know some Hensons. All right, your hens would certainly be busy with that. I mean, no kidding. Them and me too. Well, that'd be a lot of feed to generate that many eggs too. I got better luck picking my nose. Uh-oh. I hope you're not getting eggs that way, Arnold. All right. I started in the video about what, 30 minutes ago. We just keep chatting. So I don't know if I can pull off into the green graves tonight or not. I plan to. I got a topic I want to cover. I might just record it and upload it. We're going to talk about the Donroe document, the Donroe doctrine. The Donroe doctrine. At least that's what I'm thinking right now. Of course, something might happen in the news that might preempt that. But right now, I got in mind to do a video called the Donroe doctrine. Easter eggers can get crossbreeding. Okay. Uh, yeah, I've been giving them some spinach to get their calcium up because there was a little period there their shells were really thin, and so I started feeding them spinach, and that picked the shell thickness up at work. The young folks are learning. Amen. Has anybody seen the kids in the hall? The chicken lady. I don't know what you're talking about there. Anyone seen the kids in the hall? The chicken. I don't follow that one. Mercy and Grace, 679. Cronus also needs tournaments. Amen to that. Amen to that. I agree. Term limits. Congress critters shouldn't be career Congress critters. It was meant to be a citizen job, not a career job. That's where the corruption sets in big time. How's Nancy Pelosi on $200,000 a year to get be a multimillionaire, especially living in California where it's expensive? I don't see it. I mean, that's more money than I make, but still, I don't see how she gets to be a millionaire on that. Of course, every guess she makes on stock market investments is whether she buys or sells, is always perfect. She must be a genius in the stock market. Yeah, right. She don't smell like a genius to me. Congress should not be able to trade. Amen. It's like the insider trading, right? She knows too much. All righty, folks. Hey, I really appreciate everybody. Helps to harden the shells. It does. It works. There's a lot of calcium in greens, especially spinach. I give them lettuce and cabbage, and I feed them veggies about twice a day. I mean, I really spoil them. They know when they see me walking up there and get some veggies. All the hens come out and they're just waiting for me to come in, feed them. They all get excited. So, yeah, I feed them veggies twice a day. Sometimes I give them other veggies, chop up some squash or something. But they love it. Cucumber. I use a bag of oyster shells. Yeah, I need to get some of those. I had a bunch of oyster shell ground up in my aquaponics back in Alabama to keep the pH adjusted. It will help just auto adjust that. She drinks too much. A chicken or somebody? The chicken lady was trying to get a date with a man. Oh, I don't even know what y'all are talking about. Oh, that must be talking about some TV program. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Chickens are, yeah, they're nice birds. Uh, so yeah, I did a video on keeping chickens. I was trying to tell you, I don't worry about the bird flu. Way back 2 or 3 years ago in Greenbridge, if you look it up, the thumbnail picture shows a chicken in a doctor's vest with one of those little hearing instruments. So a stethoscope, whatever it is, the doctors use to listen with. Yeah, but Nancy can't take anything with her when she goes bye-bye. That's true, Arnold. And she probably ain't too many years from that. Anyway, all right, folks. Hey, um, yeah. Listen, I want to thank you, mods, for keeping the channel clean. And I want to thank everybody for watching. Share my videos, please. Please share them. Post them on your social media, post them, wherever. And, tell other people about my channel. Say, come on and watch this. We need to help. Go into my comment. Make sure you give me a thumbs up. Go into comments and go into comments and leave a note in there after I post a video. Speak to somebody else's comment. We got 82 in the house. We got 113 thumbs ups. Yeah, if you didn't give a thumbs up, hit it. Not even her soul. She sold that long ago. Yeah, she probably did. Oh, I wouldn't want to be her. Oh, I wouldn't want to be AOC. I mean, I can't imagine what it'd be like to have her mind. Her head must be scrambled. That must be, oh my God. Must be a nightmare having that walking around with that brain. Yikes. Woo. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be her. No way. Lottie, that sucks. Wow. Oh, what did you say? Hen. My rooster died when my last hen died of broken heart. Last hen. Oh, the hen died of a broken heart. Wow. That's interesting. That's interesting. Lovebirds. Wow. Literally lovebirds. Well, I guess you just got to get you a new rooster and some more hens. Met Denver Powell and Waylon Jennings. Wow, that's cool. Never met him. I did ride down an elevator from the top floor of the 14th floor to the first floor, and what was, I think, the Pan Pacifica Hotel. I don't know what to call it now. It was over right next to the Disney. What's the one Disney in Anaheim calls it? Disney World or Disneyland? I think it's Disneyland. I could see it from my hotel room. I never went there. I've never been to any of the Disney places. Although I could see the whole park from my hotel room. But I rode down from the top floor to the bottom floor, and with John Denver, and nobody else got on the elevator the whole time. So John Denver and I talked for a little bit. No, the rooster, I think. Oh, chickens and lovebirds. Yeah, chickens. When I grew up, we had a bunch of little bannies, and then later I got game chickens. You didn't have to do anything for them. They took care of themselves. They were hardy. Nothing messed with them. Anyway, so that was interesting. They were pretty though. My game chickens were real pretty. All righty, folks. We have been on here long enough, 2 hours, really long. Nobody's going to watch us in the morning. But if you rewatch it, might get some ads, ad credit. It's the only way this video is going to earn anything. So once again, everybody, thank you very much. Mods, thank you everyone for watching. I got to go. Seriously, I got to go now. Yeah, I got to get up in the morning. I got a few other things to do before I do that. I got some things I got to get done. So I can't see the chat room right now. I'll come back to it in a minute. Ding, 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 ding. So once again, thank you, mods. Thank you, everybody, for watching from the bottom of my heart. And to one and all, a good night, good day, wherever you are.